Hi girlies, and welcome back to Girl Beats World. If this is your first time here, my name is Girl Beats World and I am so excited to have you. Today we're doing another Get Ready With Me video. You guys gave me such positive feedback last time that I am so excited to share with you where I'm going today, what I've been up to the last week or so, and I'm also really excited to show you a new product that I'm going to try out, a bronzer. So we'll get into all of that in a few minutes, but let's kick it off with a smoky eye tutorial today. Okay, so I went ahead and primed and put a base on my eyelids. If you don't have a base, don't worry, you can use concealer like I did in my last video, the Get Ready With Me Summertime Glam. So if you go back to that video, you'll see how you can use concealer as your base if you don't have an actual base. I decided to stick to what I know today because we're doing a smoky eye and we can't play those games. So, now that I've gone ahead and done that, I'm going to be using my James palette collection for this look today. So kicking us off today, I'm going to use the color No Beans. What a funny name. No Beans is a like chocolatey brown because we're doing, like I said, a deep smoky eye today. So we want to give it a nice transition color, but keep it in that chocolatey space. As you notice, I did not start with my foundation today because the smoky eye can be a lot. I really love the pigmentation in this palette. This is my first time using this brown because I've been using lighter colors. I got it in spring. So I've been using the peaches, the orange, the pinks, but I actually really love how this brown is coming out. Give you guys a closer look. The next color I'm going to use is Spooky, and while I do that, I'm just going to take another fluffy brush. I'm using a black, this one's the one that I always use when I use black. It's from RC Cosmetics. It's years and years old. It's from my first brush set. So it's a great starter kit if you don't want to spend a lot of money and you want to, transition into brushes. This is a really good one. Okay, so now let's talk about what's going on with me in the meantime. So I just dab into Spooky. And just curve it almost like a little V. I don't want to completely take over that dark brown, but I do want it to kind of form into each other. So the reason why this is important is because back in the day, I used to try to do my smoky eye with my like lighter brown shade that's here and then pile on the darker colors, and I realized that didn't work. It was just like too many colors on top of each other and it just looked a mess. So this way is much easier for me. And girl, let me tell you, so not too long ago I bought this beautiful Morphe palette, which you've seen me use on this channel, and the black completely broke, just like my Proceed With Caution. I travel a lot, so what are you gonna do? And I haven't been able to do a proper smoky eye because the other black that I have is from MAC and it's like a charcoal gray. It doesn't show up as black for me, but this one gives me a really nice black. I'm gonna give you a full black on black smoky eye one day, probably closer to fall because that's usually when I like to do that type of look. But yeah, this is actually really, really pretty. You don't always have to use black. You can just use a lighter brown for your transition color and then a really deep dark brown here. So you can mix it up if this is a little too dark for your skin tone. Okay, I know I've been saying I'm gonna tell you what's been going on with me, so let's get into it. Over last weekend, went to Puerto Rico. Lit, honey. Like, when I say lit, listen. Puerto Rico gave me everything I needed and more. I was there for a bachelorette, and the bride was actually really smart. She did what I have never heard of before, which are committees. So it wasn't kind of like a free for all, like, okay, you guys handle this. It was like, nah, let's get a group of planners on the bachelorette. Let's get a group of planners on the bridal shower. And then that way it was like a divide and conquer, and people could ask the rest of the bridesmaids for help wherever they needed to. And it was a really good experience. I really like that idea. So if you're planning a wedding, consider doing that. But yeah, we did El Yunque Rainforest, which was a hike, and I didn't think I was gonna like it as much as I did. We took a hike through the rainforest, and then of course ended at like this little mini waterfall. The water was beautiful. It was so refreshing after the hike, and I just had this like really great sense of accomplishment, you know, and I really love that. And it's not an activity that I would normally think of. I'm more of a, you know, a boat type of girl, lounge at the beach, and we got to do that too, but I'm really glad we kicked off the trip with that. And then we went out to La Placita. If you ever go to San Juan, Puerto Rico, they always recommend La Placita. And just partied until like 4 o'clock in the morning. It was a good time. Okay, before I continue on, let's go into the next thing. So now that I have done this color on both eyes, I'm gonna go back in with no beans and just blend all of this out. Blending is the process of making sure that two colors kind of melt into each other and it doesn't look too overpowering. Now, sometimes I go darker with my smoky eye, but I'm going to a day event today, so it doesn't need to be that dark. You know, it just needs to give them a little something to talk about, but we don't need to completely snatch their edges with all the drama. So keep that into consideration while you are blending. So yes, La Placita was absolutely amazing, and it was just so much fun to be with all the girls. Then we got up super early. I think we got home at like 3:45. Had a 7 a.m. wake up call so we can all have beat faces and look fabulous for a beach photo shoot. And the pictures just came out. So if you check out my page at girlbeatsworld_12 on IG, you'll be able to see a couple of the pics from that photo shoot. It was such a good time. Yeah, so really great weekend, great food. I highly recommend Puerto Rico. It's one of those places that are just so close you don't think about going to, and it's a US territory, so you're like, well, why should I go there? It's honestly a more affordable version of Miami. Like, great kept secret, honestly. Like, maybe y'all knew, but I didn't know. I did not know. Okay, I've been chatting a lot. Let's focus. So I did that. Almost knocked something over. Now I'm going to go use my ColourPop. I just started cutting my creases for this look, but I love how it looks with this smoky eye. So I'm going to cut the crease. It just makes everything look so much more dimensional and so much more defined. So a trick I learned is you can look up and then it kind of shows you where to cut your crease. So we just follow that. We don't want, this is a half cut because we already did the black. We don't need to do a full cut crease. We're just gonna half it halfsies across and voila. I think I do way too much concealer when I'm cutting my crease, so do better than me. That's what that's looking like. Give you a little close up. A major key for your cut crease is to let it dry. So while it's drying the concealer, I'm going to go in with No Face and just highlight my brow. So while I'm doing this, also this week, I got to celebrate my friends who have a nonprofit around breast cancer awareness, especially targeting millennials. because there's not that much information out there for us millennials, early 30s, 20s to early 30s, because it's not common. But we do have breast cancer scares. We do have situations, and a lot more frequently, where younger women are getting breast cancer. And so it was just a really great experience, because it's my friend launched the program Painted Pink and nonprofit, and it's grown to be this beautiful thing, and more of my friends have joined her board, and she's pulled together sisters and friends and came together to create this amazing experience. And they're 6 years in the game now, and it was just really beautiful to go and celebrate them and honor them. And there was great guest speakers who shared their story, and we got to hear from both the patient side as well as the healer and physician side as well. So her doctor was there and was able to share like how she felt in the moment, hearing that this young woman who was actually pregnant had breast cancer. So such an amazing, amazing time. I just got to spend the week with just bomb women, you know, like, and sometimes that's all you need in your life. Fellas, y'all are great too, but women, just being able to have that support system from women is incredible. Excuse all the clacking. Okay, so I think I've given this enough time to dry. So I'm going to use the colors Canvas and Pinch Me on that main lid, inner lid part of my eye. With the smoky eye, with you being so dark everywhere else, you want to kind of use a lighter color, usually a lighter brown, or a peach on the inner corner of your eye, just to pack it in and allow it to be that really pretty transition color. So yeah, honestly, it's not really that much different than any of the other like cut crease tutorials that I have. I do have multiple ways of doing smoky eyes, like where it's not just this, like where it's smoky all the way through, and where it's smoky on the inner corner and the outer corner. So I'll show you guys all those different ways, but this is probably the easiest way to do a smoky eye. And if you don't have concealer, which you should, because I've shown you guys some really affordable options, it's time. Okay, it's time. No worries, not a care in the world. You can just go ahead and apply it directly on. You can go ahead and go directly in with your lighter shade into the inner corner of your eyes. Listen, this James Charles palette is fire. It's so worth it. It's worth every dime, every dime. Like, it just gives me, like, I have like no fallout. I didn't start with my foundation today because usually I have so much fallout, and I have hardly any fallout, which is incredible to say the least. Okay, so we got that. Now let's finish blending. And smoky eye is, you get the smoke look from blending. That's the major key. So let's go back and blend that black into it a little bit more. So I'm going back in. As always, I'm watching my line for my cut crease, and then I'm just allowing it to tap just really lightly into that lighter color, because that's how you get that smoked out look. So really simple, just keep it light. I bring it out. You can even bring it out a little bit for a little more drama. Yeah, that's pretty. I like never do smoky eyes for day looks, but listen, I love y'all. I just couldn't keep wasting makeup just to sit at home. So you gotta get the smoky eye today. So this is what a smoky eye looks with no liner and anything like that. That's why liner and mascara is super important. This is not a look that I recommend doing halfway. Do the eyeliner, do the mascara. It pulls everything together, as you guys will see in a moment. So we have now done the basics. Only 3.5 colors, because we did do a different color for the highlight. A brown, a black, a lighter color on the inner corner of the eyes. We have a little bit of fallout, but I'll clean that up later. Don't worry about it. Now let's go in and do a winged liner. That's my favorite type of liner to do for this look. For your wing liner, you're just going to, it's harder to see because it's black on black on my brown skin. Ooh. And I'm only gonna do this on one eye. So you're gonna pull, I start from the middle of the eye, I pull it out, and then so just pull it out as so, and then I go on to the bottom row, and I also pull that out too. Don't worry if it's not perfect. You can always clean it up when you get to your concealer, when you start doing your face concealer part. So then we go across, and then you just finish the line from the center of your eye over to the inner corner. And I just inch my way over. Don't worry about trying to be super perfect and like connecting it, because at the end is when I already have something to like, you know, in like elementary school, you used to have those dotted lines to draw against. So think about it like that. Just inch your way over, and then at the end, when you have something to like line up against, that's when you can take it and just pull the liner straight across. Super simple. You can make this line as dramatic as you want to be by just going back. You want to leave the tip alone because it's a wing liner, so it gets skinnier at the top. But start at the middle of that wing and just pull it back down to give it a more dramatic look. And then I'm going to do my lashes off camera, but a good tip for when you're doing your lashes is to go back over it with the liner, because sometimes it gets crazy and you got to clean it up a bit. So that's something that I do sometimes, is I'll go back and I'll just clean it up after I put my lash on. If it messes up the liner, just correct that. Okay, now that we've gotten the eyeliner on, I'm going to be right back. And when I come back, I'll have my lashes on. If you want to see how I do my lashes, you can take a look at one of my last videos. I'll put a link below. And I'm also going to start my foundation routine, but don't worry, I'll be back to show you the bronzer part and the highlight part from using Huda Beauty. So I'll be right back.